Welcome to this video in which I hope to share with you a personal experience regarding Rahul Gandhi that might challenge all of you to think differently of him as compared to the heavy propaganda that has been showered on you these several years. As per the propaganda received by you, Rahul Gandhi is a nitwit, he is a mere pappu, the very embodiment of incompetence, one who cannot take his vocation as a politician seriously, and one who is no match for the godlike faculties of Narendra Modi. I have no problem with the powers, potencies, attributes, rare qualities attributed to Sri Narendra Modi. I have the spiritual, mental freedom to rejoice in any good quality, any good trait, any good intention exemplified by anybody, irrespective of the camp to which that person belongs. Let me first recount the episode I have in mind, and then give you the reason why I felt it necessary to reveal something about which I have not said a word for now nearly 3 decades, or perhaps a little over 3 decades. This episode goes back to 1989 when Rahul Gandhi joined St. Stephen's College as a first-year history student. Now, he was then the son of the Prime Minister of India, Rajiv Gandhi, and as all of you know, providing security for the children of the Prime Minister is a particularly sensitive task. And all the more so in the case of Rajiv Gandhi's children, because Rajiv's mother had fallen to the bullets of assassins, never mind who the assassins were. So, dark clouds of insecurity always hung over the lives of the Gandhi, members of the Gandhi family. So therefore, it is only natural that adequate security arrangements were provided to ensure that Rahul Gandhi was able to attend studies in St. Stephen's College without any bodily harm. One day, the chief of the security, personal security of Rahul Gandhi came to see me. At that time, I was not only a lecturer in the Department of English, but also the chaplain of the college. The chief of the personal security of Rahul Gandhi at that time was a Christian from Goa. He was a very devout Christian, so he used to come and meet me every day. We became quite pally, and about a week into Rahul's time in St. Stephen's, he told me, "Sir, I'm in some difficulty." I said, "What's it?" He said, "Look, Sahab," that's how he used to call Rahul. He says, "Look, I can understand that it's your duty to provide security cover for me. That's all right. But I tell you something. On account of my security, not a single student, not a single faculty member, why? Not even a single karmachari of St. Stephen's College should be put to any inconvenience, much less embarrassment." Understood? So this gentleman was in some quandary. He said, "How do I provide security? Now, if there is any lacuna in the work that I do, my entire life will be ruined." So I had to console him, and I told him, "Look, don't worry, all shall be well." My dear friends, what I want you to consider is this. At the time when Rahul Gandhi joined St. Stephen's College as a first-year undergraduate student, he was what, 17, 18 years old? Can you imagine anyone else of comparable social, political standing thinking for his fellow students, his teachers, even the karmacharis, the class 4 workers of the college, to the extent that Rahul did. Now, I thought I would bring this out because I don't think anyone else knows about it. Because it's very important for all of us to be responsible about making the truth prevail. From the time Rahul Gandhi decided to come into politics, an avalanche of adverse propaganda was showered on him, literally intending to destroy him politically and otherwise. I don't think any other political leader in the history of India has suffered the extent of vilification that Rahul Gandhi has undergone. And look at the remarkable effect, the devastating effect that this orchestrated campaign of vilification had on the public image of Rahul Gandhi. If you sample the opinion of, say, 10 people, it's very likely that at least 3 of them would say, if not 4, that Rahul Gandhi is mentally retarded. He's a pappu. There's no good in him. He's hollow. Not because any one of them knows Rahul Gandhi. It's only that they've lapped it up from whatever they have heard all around. After all, we are all mere passive consumers of the opinions aired in public, not realizing that those who do so are not committed to truth. So in a situation such as this, it's a basic duty to bear witness to the truth that we know. And I would argue that this is fundamental to the patriotism that is required of us at this time. After all, what is the motto of our country? Satyameva Jayate. Truth alone prevails. Now you tell me, how will truth prevail if we keep quiet about the falsehood that's circulated with extreme efficiency and diabolic determination day in and day out? So, if you really believe in the relevance and worth of the national motto, Satyameva Jayate, then you would certainly deem yourself under responsibility to bear witness to the truth that you know. And in context of heavy propaganda, motivated propaganda, malicious and malignant propaganda, truth is always hidden. And therefore, as patriotic people, we have a duty to bring out the hidden truth, and that's what I'm doing. Now, why is it that a certain camp is so eager to spread such malicious campaign about a person who has done them no harm whatsoever? They are in politics, he is in politics. They believe they have every right to be in politics, but they believe that he has no right to be in politics. Now, surely this is not a fair equation. And common sense should tell us that if Rahul Gandhi is as stupid and dull-witted as they make out to be, they should ignore him altogether. Then he is no threat to anyone. Why should someone bother about a person who is totally innocuous and of no effect whatsoever? Who kicks a dead horse? So there is a contradiction in this kind of neurotic obsession with maligning and tarnishing the public image of Rahul Gandhi. And that is something that every one of us who wishes to be mentally free and not slavish to this camp or that camp should exercise for ourselves. So please remember that in a context of heavy and malicious motivated propaganda, there is the other side of the story that needs to be told, and it's the duty of every patriotic Indian to tell that part of the story which is deliberately hidden, and that's what I'm doing. So I'm not doing this out of any personal loyalty or sense of obligation to Rahul as my old-time student. I'm doing this as discharging my obligation to my country, the country that I love from the bottom of my heart. And I do this as a patriotic Indian because I have an idea of patriotism which again will be ridiculed by the large-scale manufacturers of falsehood and lies who think that they are the deciders of India's destiny. So let's now think a little more about this. It's highly important. I beg of you to have patience with me, because it's highly important that we get a perspective on this. My dear friends, please think of this. Is it normal for somebody to feel unnerved, disquieted, troubled, suffocated in the recognition or in the presence of something good? Which is healthier? Rejoicing in the realization that there is some good in a human being, or feeling absolutely enraged, furiously upset that there is some good in this person? Which is normal, you tell me? Which is human and which is humane? Why is it that so many people in this country don't realize that there is something seriously wrong about this neurotic desire to malign and ruin the image of somebody? Whereas nobody likes even one wrong or malicious word said about him or her. The very same people would be hyperactive in maligning everybody they don't dislike. This hypocrisy must be called out. I've been a teacher all my life, and the duty of a teacher is not merely to go and give some lectures in a classroom. A teacher never retires. An employee retires, a teacher never retires. A teacher's job is to challenge people to think, and especially think in terms of what is usually hidden, what is usually overlooked, what is deliberately hidden. So I continue to be a teacher even after my retirement. So now let's think about this. The duty to be always mindful of the other side of the story. Please understand, when somebody comes out with a version of any event or any picture of a person, it is never the complete truth. Every image, every version of an episode or a person is an edited version of the truth. Very often it is downright falsehood. So if you have any self-respect, you will not remain a mindless, unthinking consumer of other people's falsehood. You corrupt yourself by becoming a dumping ground of the malice and the mischief of other people. Why should you do that? They may have huge political agendas. They may hope to gain something humongous in terms of power politics, etc. But what do you gain? The only thing that will help you is to stand steadfast on the foundation of truth, because truth is the key to your personal dignity. Truth alone safeguards your personal worth, and truth alone enables you to respect yourself. So now let's look at this. This neurotic unhappiness about somebody being good. I challenge every one of the detractors of Rahul Gandhi to tell the country as a whole, but they at the age of 17 or 18 would have taken the stand that Rahul Gandhi took in terms of his keenness to ensure that no discomfort or no embarrassment or inconvenience of any kind was caused to a fellow student, even a karmachari in the college where he was studying. Is there anyone who is busy maligning Rahul Gandhi who can claim that? Think about it. Think about it. So, I am under obligation, I have no choice about it. I am under obligation to reveal the truth that I know. Why? Because if you and I don't uphold the truth we know, we simply aid and abet the ambassadors of falsehood who triumph by default. In this context, let me quote a few marvelous words from the English thinker Edmund Burke, one of the great orators England ever produced. He said, the only encouragement that the forces of evil need is apathy of the good. Evil triumphs by default. These words are good enough to be committed to memory. Please learn this by heart. The only encouragement that the forces of evil need is the apathy of the good. Evil triumphs only by default. That's why I share this episode and these thoughts with you. Let's proceed a little further. Why it is that some people have taken it upon themselves as their utmost responsibility to ruin, malign, ridicule and degrade this young man. Let me give you a personal experience. In 1992, I was approached by the Bishop of Nagpur, Church of North India, to become the principal of Hislop College, Nagpur. It's one of the famous colleges there, though now it's completely gone down. The post of the principal was advertised. The advertisement was sent to me, but I never responded because I was not interested in becoming principal. But the bishop was having great difficulty with the Hislop Education Society, which had been hijacked by some very corrupt people. So he thought the only person who could actually strengthen his hand was myself. So he came to Delhi and he persuaded me, in fact got my application written then and there. He carried my application back to Hislop. And the news spread that I was becoming the principal of Hislop. At that time I was, 41 years old. But the quirks of destiny. 10 days after that, Bishop Andrews, the Bishop of Nagpur, dies in a road accident. And a very corrupt man became the bishop in charge of the Nagpur diocese. Then itself I knew. But anyway, I was invited to the interview, and at the interview I was told, look, you are much too young. I said, look, when I was motivated to apply, I never wanted to apply. The bishop came all the way and made me apply. Everybody knew my age. But anyway, it was an excuse, it was a lame excuse. The reason was that in the eyes of the members of the Hislop Education Society, I had a serious disqualification, ineligibility, and that was, I was an honest man. So to the corrupt, to those people who treat Hislop College as their milch cow, an honest man as principal is a serious headache. So I just share this with you to create some perspective on this. You ask any member, the then member, perhaps all of them are dead. If you were to ask a member of the Hislop Society, Education Society, then they would say, oh, that man is dangerous. Dangerous. How can we touch him with a barge pole? They would have asked you. That's how things are in public life. So, please remember that whenever heavily motivated, orchestrated, obsessive, compulsive propaganda to malign and vilify a person is conducted over a long period of time, it means that there is something seriously good about him. And that happens to be the case with Rahul Gandhi. And I say this, again, I say this in order that truth may prevail. And I consider that to be a patriotic duty, especially at a time when falsehood has a free run in our country. It's a terrible tragedy if the destiny of this country were to be handed over to a few mouths that can only spew falsehood. Now, why should I do this in my old age? I should be retiring, relaxing. Why am I still active? Let me share with you a few words from an Irish poet, a poet that I really enjoy reading, William Butler Yeats. There's a lovely poem titled The Second Coming. And let me quote a few words from that poem. But it says, the good lack all conviction, the evil are full of passionate intensity. You see that passionate intensity at work in our country. And that passionate intensity also means that they're highly intolerant of any opinion or any stand different to what they are sponsoring. So they think they should have all the freedom in the world to do whatever they want. They should have absolute monopoly, all the right in the world to dump whatever they want on you. But you should have no right to say a word in dissent. It's a fair equation, no? So agents of falsehood always believe in inequality. They are against intellectual freedom. And they have scant respect for the worth of others. If anybody respects you, that person will not slur you, shall I say, corrupt you with falsehood. He will tremble to utter a falsehood to your face. So, I quoted these words from Yeats to underline the fact that we have a duty today to be active. We must become activists for good. There are thousands, tens and thousands, armies of people who are hyperactive in the service of falsehood. Some of us must become hyperactive in the service of truth. I'm reminded of a few words of Jesus Christ. Please forgive me for bringing Jesus Christ into this. I bring Jesus Christ because he said he is the truth. He said, if you want to understand me, if you want a one-word definition of my personality, that word is truth. I am the truth, he said. The Gospel of John chapter 14 verse 6. So Jesus said, do not resist evil. Overcome evil with good. Jesus says, do not resist evil. Later on, Paul says, overcome evil with good. Now, what does it mean? If you try to attack falsehood, if you try to resist lies, then you really reach nowhere. The only way to resist evil, the only way to help truth prevail, only way to prevent falsehood from having a free run is to bear witness to the truth you know. Have the courage to acknowledge the truth. After all, we are the inheritors of a great mission undertaken by Mahatma Gandhi, which resulted in the liberation of India from the yoke of colonial oppression. What was the path that he chose to lead India to freedom? It was a path of unwavering commitment to truth. In an article published in the Harijan in 1937, Gandhi said about himself, I consider myself as an instrument in the hand of God to lead the people of India to freedom. God is truth. Hinduism reveals God as truth. Gandhi went a step further and said, truth is God. Can you walk the path of truth? Then rest assured, you abide in God. God is in you. And the tragedy is that everything is done in the name of Hinduism today, but it is the acid rain of falsehood that happens all the time. When I appeal to my Hindu friends, my brothers and sisters in Hinduism, whom I greatly admire, I have great respect for the Hindu faith, the philosophical core. There is a great deal of superstition, etc. in Hinduism, as there is in Christianity, as there is in every other religion. There is no difference between religions in terms of superstition, etc. And the priestly foos-fast, which is of no use to anyone. I plead with my brothers and sisters, whom I love and value in Hinduism, to stand by the great insight that Hinduism has contributed to humankind's universal awareness of Godhead, namely that God is truth. So God is truth. A national motto is that truth alone triumphs. Why? Because God is truth. If God is truth, truth cannot fail, right? So anyone who says that God is truth and lets truth fail and falsehood triumph is betraying God. Very clear. The logic is very clear. So it is in this context, therefore, cutting across all religious divides, we have a common agenda. The common agenda is to make truth prevail. So there is no point in fighting falsehood. You don't have to do that. The task is much simpler. The only task is to bear witness to the truth that you know, and that's what I'm doing. Okay, let's go a little further. Let me make another literary reference. After all, I taught literature all my life. I taught Shakespearean tragedy in particular, the four major tragedies of Shakespeare. Think of Othello. In that play, the protagonist is Othello. The title of the play is derived from his name, Othello, with a Negro commander in service of a Caucasian king. His lieutenant is Iago. Iago feels deeply troubled in the presence of Othello, though he is Othello's lieutenant and therefore his personal attendant. And he experiences a terrible, shall I say, neurotic desire to destroy his master. And in one soft moment, Iago reveals the reason why he feels the secret need to ruin the felicity of Othello's life. You know what he says? There is a daily beauty about him which makes me feel ugly beside him. I feel rebuked. The very presence of Othello, the man with these qualities, is a symbolic rebuke to my personality. I have to ruin him just to feel comfortable. Somehow that sounds strikingly similar to the situation that we are addressing today. My dear friends, I plead with you to realize that this neurotic desire to malign, ruin, and stamp underground, underfoot, whatever is good, is pathological. It's not normal. It betokens sickness in personality. No matter what energy it exudes, after all, we all know that evil has a lot of fleeting, temporary energy. But this energy is only short-lived and it will just fizzle out in no time. So, I have no hesitation in telling you that there is something good about Rahul Gandhi. Now, that good in him will be despised by people who have an agenda which is completely contrary to what he represents. So there is a symbolic contrast. Rahul Gandhi often talks about the ideological contrast between him and the Sangh Parivar. But beyond that, he doesn't perhaps realize this. Someone should tell him there is a symbolic contrast between who he is and what his detractors are. That's the reason why there is an irreconcilable antagonism between the two. But it's good of him that he doesn't lock horns with adversaries. He just bypasses them and he pursues his mission, which is also a sign of maturity, by the way. At this point in time, I have to reveal that Rahul Gandhi is much more popular, loved and respected by people than he realizes. Unfortunately, the young man does not know his worth. He does not know how dearly beloved of the people he is. You know, the responses that I get to these occasional videos that I do, wherever I make even a casual reference to Rahul Gandhi, shows that there are millions and millions of people in this country who literally adore him. Adore him is the word. People fear Narendra Modi. Many people respect him. I also respect him for some of his qualities. I have serious disagreements with him in some other respects, but that wouldn't make me, that wouldn't prevent me from admiring what is positive in him, what is good in him. Though I wish the good qualities were stronger than some of these negative peculiarities, idiosyncrasies that mar the great picture that he would have otherwise constituted. Anyway, I don't want to comment on this. I wish him well. Now that he's assuming responsibility as the third term as the Prime Minister of India, the supreme leader of 145 crores of people, the great responsibility. I pray, honestly I pray, that God would give him the grace, the special gifts he needs to do justice to the responsibilities that he's taking upon himself. I pray that all the constituent parts of NDA would work together harmoniously, keeping in mind the people of India, and particularly the poor of this country. And they would seek to do justice to the poor, the marginalized, the disenfranchised, the excluded, the underprivileged. Therefore, I pray God's blessings upon Narendra Modi and the cabinet he would form. Most sincerely. Governance is God's agenda. Justice for the poor is God's agenda. This is what I have to say to Sri Narendra Modi. Sri Narendra Modi, please understand, justice to the poor is God's agenda. Please do not be found wanting. I wish you were a combination of Rahul Gandhi's heart and Narendra Modi's mind. Just as a person I really respect profoundly, Swami Vivekananda said, India should have the Islamic body and the Vedantic soul. We need a hybrid. Whereas see, Narendra Modi, you're seriously mistaken that everything should be of one color. One country, one election, one leader, one language, one culture, one. One is no fun, Sri Narendra Modi. Variety is the very spice of life. Do not despise the beauty of life. do not run against the logic of life. And those who run against the logic of life destroy themselves. Anyway, I wish you all the very best, sincerely. And I'll continue to pray for divine guidance to be available to you. After all, you claim that you're a person not of any organic birth. You're a person of divine origin. And therefore, I hope you will stay open in your inner life to the promptings from above. And all the promptings that would come to you from above will be good. They will certainly accentuate what is good and beautiful in you, and that the poor people in this country will have something to look forward to during your third tenure, and I wish you all the best. So, Rahul Gandhi has something enormously beautiful in him. And I tell you something, in comparison to Sri Narendra Modi, it's become a national pastime to compare Rahul with Narendra Modi to the disadvantage of Rahul, or to compare Narendra Modi to Rahul to the great advantage of Narendra Modi. Though of course, there have been occasions where this equation has been seriously shattered. For example, when the retired Justice of the Supreme Court of India, Justice Madan Lokur, and N. Ram and one other person, pardon me, proposed that there be a national debate between Narendra Modi and Rahul Gandhi on issues of importance in this general election. Rahul Gandhi accepted it immediately, whereas Narendra Modi fled from it. Maybe he thought that it was below his dignity to debate Rahul Gandhi, or maybe he thought that he would not be in a position to engage him in public dialogue. Whatever be the case. So this idea that Rahul Gandhi can be pitted against Narendra Modi, always to Narendra Modi's advantage, does not stand the scrutiny of truth. So I was saying that the best thing for India would be a combination of Rahul Gandhi's heart and Narendra Modi's acumen, and great energy. When I think of Narendra Modi, I think with astonishment about his inexhaustible, supernatural energy, really speaking. But I tell you one thing, though what Narendra Modi, the vitality that Narendra Modi symbolizes or embodies, looks way superior, far more important and historic than the gentle light of the goodness of Rahul Gandhi. Believe you me, this gentle light of goodness will prevail in the end. Mark my words. Mark my words. Mark my words. The gentle light of goodness will prevail over the thunder and lightning of the superhuman energies exemplified in a person. That is the eternal truth of life. That's why I believe that there is God, by the way. That's why I also believe that the destiny of a country is in the hand of God and not in the hands of petty politicians. And those who forget this truth will pay dearly for it. So I have no hesitation in hailing Rahul Gandhi as a good man in politics, and because he is good, he is also a reluctant politician. By the way, the Sangh Parivar is very gleeful in discrediting him as a reluctant politician. You don't understand what you are talking about. If a person is a reluctant politician, it means that he is not addicted to the chair. He is not power crazy. That he does not need as a chair or a crown or some accessory to be worthwhile and valuable and loved and respected by the people. It means that he is free from covetousness. It means that he loves the people more than positions and material gains and profit. It's a great quality. The common man will know that that's a great quality. If you have to choose between somebody who is addicted to a chair and somebody who says, I don't need the chair, who will you choose? It is no comparison, my dear friends. Any day I will choose the one who does not want a chair, because there is something great in him. And it is the utter stupidity of the people who take it upon themselves as their 24/7 job to malign Rahul Gandhi, to say that his reluctance to be a power-crazy politician is stupidity. Stupidity. I'm sorry, can't agree with you. Anyway, Satyameva Jayade Nanaradam. Satyameva Jayade Nanaradam. Satyameva Jayade Nanaradam. Jai Hind. Jai Hind.